Sapphire, and today we're talking about House of the Dragon. Helena has the gift of prophecy, making her something very special that seems to only be recognized by a few people, one of those her brother. But not her husband brother. Oh no, she has caught the sight of one whose eye cannot look away. There have been some hints over the past few episodes to something more going on between Eamonn and Helena, so today let's take a deep dive into how this could affect the later story in some very dark ways. Just a heads up, this video will contain spoilers from the book Fire and Blood. So Helena and Aegon II were married in the tradition of the Targaryens, brother to sister. This was mentioned going back to episode 7 in Driftmark, where Aegon complained at what an idiot his sister Helena is. Helena is a bit different, and clearly a dragon dreamer, like her father and many other Targaryens, including Aegon the Conqueror. I talked about Helena's abilities as a dreamer and a warg in another video linked below. Helena has made some prophetic remarks under her breath, such as,
"You'll have to close an eye."
Spool of black, dragons of flesh, weaving dragons of thread. Hand turns.
Beware the beast beneath the boards. There's a beast beneath the boards.
And each of her dreams have come true. When Alicent comes to Helena to tell her of her father's death, Helena knows exactly what this will mean. Aegon will be put on the throne, and many will die at his coronation. Many believe the beast beneath the boards referred to something sinister in the future, but in actuality, Helena saw the massive destruction in the dragon pit, which killed many people. Helena is not the only person dreading her brother on the throne. Eamonn believes he'd be better suited for the throne, and clearly Aegon doesn't want it. Eamonn is a serious young man, stoic, and does not show his feelings. He is intense. He is the warrior to his family, just as Daemon is to Rhaenyra and his side of the family. Going back to his childhood, he had no qualms about doing his duty, telling his brother Aegon that he would marry his sister if Alicent had betrothed them. Eamonn even calls Helena Aegon's future queen in that scene, showing that he never believed in Rhaenyra's claim as heir, even as a child. From a young age, Eamonn already had bigger plans in mind. Though he was late in claiming his dragon, he paid the blood price for the largest dragon alive, Vhagar, and this transformed him from a quiet boy the others picked on to a savage warrior with a vengeance. Eamonn trained twice as hard from there on out and became a fearsome fighter. Meanwhile, his brother Aegon drank twice as hard, becoming more of a degenerate and going out to the city to partake in its greasier locations. Aegon is a drunk, and he assaults servants and likely many others. He has fathered bastards around Flea Bottom, and he patronizes fighting pits of children. The man is a hot mess, and it takes 3 Kingsguard and his brother to hunt him down just to have him spit in their faces. Though Aegon and Helena were married, there is no love between them. Helena toasts Baela and Rhaena during the Last Supper, assuring them that mostly your husband leaves you alone, except when he's been drinking. Helena sits between her brothers, but it is when Jace asks Helena for a dance that Eamonn really loses his temper, standing to give a toast to the strong boys. A fight breaks out amongst them, and Eamonn laughs it off, until he comes face to face with Uncle Daemon, who is still the alpha dragon around King's Landing. Eamonn seems unfazed by pretty much everyone except Daemon, and this of course will play out through the story. The two rogues are a reflection of one another, but there are some big differences that we will come back to later. Now, while Helena seems to detest Aegon and stay as far away from him as she can, she stays close to Eamonn when they are in court, at dinner, or even in her chambers. This goes back to their childhood when Eamonn goes to Helena's rooms after the Pink Dread incident, likely to seek comfort from his quiet sister. Later, during the coronation, Helena stands off to the side beside Eamonn, not her husband, while he is crowned. In fact, their mother and grandfather stand closer to Aegon than his own wife. This is much different from how it is written in Fire and Blood, where it is said that Helena has a crown placed on her head by Queen Alicent, who bows before her daughter. But Fire and Blood also left out Rhaenys and Meleys exploding through the dragon pit, so there is much to that story left unwritten. During the coronation, Helena refuses to look at Aegon, looking in Aemond's direction the entire time in expectation of the beast beneath the boards. She knows the explosion is coming, and she seeks the protection and safety of her warrior brother. Only once the explosion has happened does she turn to face and look at Rhaenys and Meleys. I think Helena knows that Rhaenys will not burn them because she faces her and the massive dragon with less fear than she had displayed during the entirety of the coronation. Again, she stays near her brother Aemond amidst the chaos, and he protects his queen. Now, looking back to Helena's chambers, where her children play with their new nanny, the princess explains to her nanny how it is fate to desire what another has. Is this another prophetic mumbling from a dragon dream? Anything is possible, but we should point out that Diana has been replaced with a new nanny after her incident with Aegon in episode 8. When the news comes of Viserys' death, Aemond heads right for Helena's room to comfort her this time, finding their mother there already, though Helena takes no comfort from Alicent. When Aemond walks into the room, her face lights up. Helena's children are twins, Jaehaerys and Jaehaera, and she and Aegon also have a third child named Maelor. We only saw the twins here, so it will be interesting to see if Maelor is born yet, and this could also play into the future of the story. Now, you may have noticed in the intro to House of the Dragon, a new segment was added in episode 9. We now see 3 crowns, each with a sigil for Aegon, Helena, and Aemond. Aegon's is a woman holding a globe, Helena's is a spider, and Aemond's is a bright blue sapphire. Book readers know the significance of the sapphire to Aemond later in the story. However, I noticed something more. During the coronation, the High Towers go out of their way to create a huge presentation for Aegon's crowning, including adorning him with Aegon the Conqueror's Valyrian sword Blackfire, his sacred dagger, and his Valyrian steel crown, as well as dressing the new king in the Targaryen color of black. What is interesting is that one would assume that his new queen would also dress in the colors of their house, or, if not in black like her husband, at least in the green of the High Towers. But, interestingly, Helena wears something else completely. She is dressed from head to toe in sapphire blue. So book readers are familiar with blood and cheese. These 2 sinister characters are sent on a mission of vengeance, an eye for an eye and a son for a son. When Lucerys Velaryon is sent to Storm's End on his mother's behalf to seek peace and offer terms to Lord Baratheon, he is unexpectedly met there by his uncle Aemond and his massive dragon Vhagar. Aemond came seeking terms himself and perhaps even one of Lord Baratheon's daughters to wed. Now, we all know at this point Luke and Aemond are pretty much arch nemesis. Luke is the reason Aemond lost his eye, and Luke is one of the catalysts to Aemond really growing up and mastering his fighting skills. But he is also older and bigger than his nephew, and so is his dragon. The 2 fight on Dragonback out in the blustering storm, and Luke is killed, lost in the stormy waters of Shipbreaker Bay. When Rhaenyra and Daemon learn of his death, Daemon swears to avenge Luke. He still has old connections in Flea Bottom, and he reaches through the wormways to hire a lowly rat catcher within the Red Keep and some muscle to help. Blood and cheese. An eye for an eye and a son for a son. The men enter Helena Targaryen's rooms, taking Queen Alicent hostage, and when Helena returns with her children, they make her choose one. Just one son, that's all. Helena offers herself instead, but they say it must be one of the boys. This is vengeance for Luke's death. Helena chooses Maelor, as he is the youngest child, but cruelly the men kill Jaehaerys instead and leave Maelor alive. The men keep their word and leave the rest of them and sneak out through the passageways of the Red Keep. Helena suffers great mental woe from this. Unable to care for herself or the children, she sends Jaehaera and Maelor to her mother to care for them. Helena tortures herself over making the choice of a child, and eventually she leaps from her window to her death onto the spikes below. Now let's consider all the time that Aemond and Helena have spent together, closely bonding, while Aegon is out cavorting, drinking, and lusting after other women. Is it possible that Aemond and Helena have a thing going on? The 2 obviously care deeply for one another, and Aemond always looks to protect Helena. He has said he would marry her if Alicent had arranged it, and he has not yet taken another wife. To take it a step further, what if Jaehaerys and Jaehaera were actually fathered by Aemond? I think they might actually be, but what is interesting is that we have not yet seen Maelor. If Maelor is not yet born, he may actually be fathered by Aegon. Perhaps Aegon will become a more kingly man and, whether by choice or not, stay home more often with his queen. So, looking at it this way, could this contribute to Helena's choice when blood and cheese force her to choose between her sons? Is Jaehaerys the son of the man she loves, Aemond, while Maelor is the son of the husband she hates, Aegon? And so when Daemon says an eye for an eye and a son for a son, does he actually know that these children are Aemond's and not the children of Aegon? This whole idea is very similar to other love triangles in the A Song of Ice and Fire world. We see this with other Targaryens in history, namely Aegon the Unworthy, whose choices ring similar to Aegon II here in the Dance of the Dragons. Aegon IV was married to his sister wife Nerys, though she was in love with their brother, Aemon the Dragon Knight. Though Nerys was a pious woman who claimed to stay true to her husband, the histories remember the great love between Queen Nerys and her Dragon Knight. We see a similar structure even between Robert Baratheon, Cersei, and Jaime Lannister. Though they are not Targaryens, Cersei often compares her and Jaime's relationship to the Targaryens intermarrying. You might even say this applied to Aegon the Conqueror and his sister wives. Visenya was the eldest, and some believe she ruled with the Iron Fist, while Aegon was a warrior and loved Rhaenys the most. His sisters ruled at Aegon's side. It was said that for every night Aegon spent with Visenya, he spent 10 with Rhaenys. Like Queen Cersei, Queen Nerys, or even Queen Helena, they have no love for their king and husband, the men who mostly ignore you, except for when they're drunk. What I also find very interesting here is that Helena was able to have 3 successful pregnancies. Unlike Daemon, who has been trying to recreate the 3 heads of the dragon, but has only been able to have 2 children with either of his wives. The 3rd child results in a monstrous birth. This could be an extra thorn in Daemon's side when fighting against his nephew. Perhaps Aemond, like his uncle, believed in this magical recipe as well. Helena's dragon Dreamfire laid the eggs that later become Daenerys' dragons, making Helena a mother of dragons, and this is again confirmed by Helena giving birth to 3 healthy Targaryen children, Jaehaerys, Jaehaera, and Maelor, 3 heads of the dragon. I think the only person who truly values Helena and her unique abilities and her amazing accomplishments as a mother, as a dragon rider, a dreamer, and a warg is her brother Aemond, who is equally underappreciated for his own gifts he brings to the family. Aemond and Helena find comfort in one another from the chaos of the rest of their family. Helena doesn't seem bothered by Aegon's absence in her life, and Aemond really seems to fill that gap for her. It's very clear that Aegon isn't fit to rule and will be a puppet king for his mother and grandfather. But remember what Tyrion says, it's very hard to put a leash on a dog once you've put a crown on its head. Aemond would be predictable, reliable, and fearsome, while Aegon would rather be drinking somewhere. But what do you all think? Do you think that Aemond and Helena are better suited for one another and better suited to rule? Would they build a relationship behind their brother's back, or would Aegon even care? And do you believe that Helena's children are actually fathered by Aemond, making the trade of a son for a son so much more personal? Let me know your thoughts and questions in the comments below. Is this our new fandom ship? Because I think we can all agree Helena is just the bee's knees. Thank you all so much for watching, and be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell. And if you can share this video out with your friends and on your social media, I would super appreciate it while I battle the YouTube powers that be for flagging my videos for pretty much anything and everything they can. I appreciate all of your support for my channel, and consider joining my channel memberships here on YouTube by clicking the join button below, or through Patreon, which is linked in the description. With both, you will gain exclusive benefits and access to new videos and other cool stuff. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Father.
What's happened?